Thank you. What a special treat to be the feature here this evening. I always mention the Course in Miracles only because I just feel like that might be my audience if and when my collection comes out. So I kind of like to center that. But I'm going to start off with some poems about Malta because that's the other side of me that's a little bit different than everybody else. So this first one is called On Arrival. Uncapped sound frequencies not heard by humans cross land and sea before being sucked up in stone cold air conditioned airport. Bones chilled dry, dense heat swats insects just to feel a breeze. Looking for a sign in Arabic script, Maltese, or English, it says exit. Step out into Celsius low shimmer, bus stop hut for shade made from quarries. Everything springs from limestone here. I adjust my mask and wait. Cold-blooded turtles scoot about, heated double entendre, an interim of life's grace period. I catch my breath. As the rock grew from a salty sea, she was named Malta, from Mele, meaning honey. Bees live on the island. Her ancient temples look like her people, smooth, pliable stone, olive-skinned, seasoned islanders toil the dry, parched soil, growing prickly pears by salt flats. Lampuki pie, a favorite fish dish, sailing the tip of a gentle wave, surrounded by crystal clear blue. I walk on water on arrival. Summer or winter, we are at home here. Everyone has their part, cooking meals or cleaning up after. We gossip or plunge into warm Mediterranean waters. Winter's warm charm rests in sunshine's mild breeze without the crowds or the heat. No one goes hungry. Instead, we overeat. Friends visit after lunch, bringing sweets. Sunday is the worst when stomachs burst. Grandfather makes us laugh. He eats the most and says it's best to eat now because if we get sick, we won't want to. After dishes are done, there's talk of supper's menu. Prepared rabbit raised for food. Ancient recipes nurture our collective soul. This is called Maltese migration. My father was born the Day of the Dead, sixth child of Maltese immigrants, lived in Bayview, where grandfather settled in 1900. Intent on finding his fortune, grandfather spit and shined for profit, junk to antique. After 20 years, he saved enough for his wife and 4 children to cross the Mediterranean. Then they had 4 more, one of which, Tony, grew up to be musician, artist, green thumb, old-time foodie, drapery man, father. 1950 single dad, when mother left us, he rehearsed after work while we 3 tucked in dresser drawers made up like beds listened to his trombone swoon from behind closed doors. Anthony, my namesake, we age alike with silver streaks. Our brow hovers the same over favorite islander lunches. Fresh fish with sliced tomato, soaked in olive oil, open-faced on hard, crusty bread. The blue skies sparkle across the bay as we drive 101 home past Candlestick from SFO by way of Malta. Underground temples built 2,000 years before Stonehenge. Caved corridors home to ancient stone fertility goddess. Ample breast and belly, flourish, bouquet stem from her tiny ankles. Neolithic underground, sleeping lady, Venus of Malta. Rounded hips, thighs, calves, arms, found at Hagar Kim temples. 3500 BC, snapshots of the Golden Age. Theory of old Europe, matriarchal, peaceful, egalitarian cultures worshiping the great goddesses. Today's beaches host taut, tan, flawless beauty, less is best bikini glory. I am Venus of Malta perfected. Opulence etched in cultural norms, seduced and guided, we eat accordingly. Queens of the day touched by colonialism. Conquered and ruled by prevailing winds, 1,000 horses beat the ground, flaunting power to take humanity down to their own demise. Walking the tight wire rulings from times gone by in this brave new world where men continue to take dominion. Dance of the avenging goddess, hold up the severed head of demon slain, resting her foot on her lover. She is not tyranny. He lays before her with no fear. Life blooms around them. What does he have to lose? Everything if he threatens feminine force. Supportive men do not impede the goddess. Let us distinguish. Let us not turn against our allies today. Instead, rage losses towards church and state. She came to stay with all her shoes, invited by marriage, embraced abandoned children. She dusted our sheets with perfume powder, traded my boys' t-shirts and jeans for plaid dresses, cooked pot au feu, rich beef broth over noodles with leeks, potatoes, carrots. In her lilting accent, she was an evil stepmother. She made hard rules, but there was never a question of love. We three were hers. She told us stories of her yellow star on a hand-sewn coat made by her father, the tailor. She wore it to school in Paris. She lost everyone in the war. The Nazis took her family, so she came to ours. In a big ship, she crossed oceans. We were forever intertwined. She came with her French accent and cigarette smoke curling upwards in the kitchen. This is called My Other Mother. It's about her. Escaped Paris after Hitler murdered her family. Gasping ghosts breeze through her hiding places in the dark years. She could be the one that bore me or the one that wanted children. Married into our little family, we needed her as much as she us. Forging bridges across oceans, sailed to San Francisco. She met my dad, sometimes an evil stepmother, love always the undercurrent. 4'11", long hook nose, French accent, listened to our stories, answered children's queries in ancient tongues, broken heirloom. She was our savior. Obliterated to 1,000 puzzle pieces, irrationally furious when my brother bought a German-made car in 1969. Decades later, at 90, she died at our family home. Dark like an old bloody skeleton, declared herself an atheist after living Nazi atrocities. Hermit seed wanders in memory's sweet golden demise. Oh mon Dieu, she cried in anguish, calling to a God she could not rely on. Compounded trauma, complicated relations, sweeping air grabs winter's sunset from a huge hill of fallen dollars, looking like dementia, schizophrenia, anorexia, codependence for all. Floating twigs form bodies from shadows, naked veils look enchanted. Water me some smoke-embellished spirit, circling our ancestors, our progeny. I'm going to switch gears here. This is a recent poem. It's called Ego. My phantom expression of self, reinforced by people I know, and strangers too, their faces tell me my worth. My shiny exterior craves approval, wanting to be seen, an imagined glory showing my version of perfection, stemming from an elixir for every occasion. More often, I fear being seen, hiding in a muddy container, telling myself I should be bold, both sides of a pretty penny tossed in a fountain. The patina, a lovely shade of green, forms on my surface. I'm not tarnished, but enhanced. Misty energy fields move in, unseen swirls, atoms creating chemical elements to molecules and proteins. Existence lined on the ground like a chalk drawing of a man shot down, projecting my past trauma, receiving my magnificence undefined. Ego and spirit encircled, intertwined. I breathe through humility, centered on humanity. And this is a pretty recent prompt we had here at Sacred called Playing with Fire. I want to be your matchstick, striking you alert, guarded in the latitudes of our minds, where we risk feeling judged or rejected. I want you to light up when I enter the room, dazzled from the stars, taken energetically, tangled with invisible wire made of copper and sunshine, pipe dreams laid down first, foundations built on trust where growth can stem in our conjoined hearts. Spitting out wooden words in blue-flamed corridors made of sulfur and powdered glass, strike it hard, sparks fly, flames ignite, hot impersonations pretend we are artificial light, decimated in the dark, dense night. I want to be your matchstick, trusting you to see the corrugated edges of my mask, hardened by survival, then revived by our bond, hands and feet warmed by the fire. Now we can tend the hearth. This is called My Baby. She came to me out of desire, manifestation, seeded from need, created through intention. This child, blue-eyed blonde girl, so unlike my Maltese brown, yet undeniably mine. A gazelle in a family of hippopotami. Side by side, we grew our wings in flight as if she drew the map to escape my stifled style. Decoded acceptance of every part of me where dreams start out, lacking trust and safety, hoping that control, taking matters in my hands. They age faster than my heart, recalling God's promise, if dreams hold love as the answer, guidance comes to provide. Each day breaks open the sky. In concert, we walk, remembering every dream turned blessing. This is called Stardust. I'm grateful that anyway, I'm blanking here, but it's called Stardust, and okay, so winter's darkness falls asunder, spring brings in the light, Ishtar's ancient name resides in me without ignorance or ego. I am determined to see, obeying no laws save nature and change. My eyes do not see the light. I am not a body, but what am I? Love and light essentially joined in spirit housed in flesh. Everything trimmed in light glitters away the dark, shows what's hidden yet always there. Compassion and strength, subtle shimmer radiates in my voice, my stance and stride. Curiosity brings worldly gifts, melons and grapes, sweet sizzling summers, rites of spring. When the wind breaks the sky open wide, there is nothing but the light. You and I as co-conspirators hold this dream to billow out under our flaming fortuitous fraction of time, detonated at birth, we are exploding stars. So anyway, that was published in the Haight-Ashbury Literary Journal, and I forgive me, I just can't, aging, I can't get your name there, sweetheart, but I know you. Thank you. This is called Good Trouble. Old white woman prepares for exit, fire this existence right out over mountains, dazzling myself, dismiss worldly trinkets, precious privileged possessions, invaluable concessions held hostage by comfort. Flowing white robes, heart energy, amethyst collected in a day, sunrise, coffee, revving stimuli, my merits layered like a crossbar at the door, blocking essential attributes, every false eyelash, fancy footwear, confidence, I assume, thwarts my glorious, intrinsically unadorned old white woman. Walking sunlit afternoon, meeting you eye to eye, the world holds nothing that I want, save for the seed of limitlessness, worthy of worship, our thoughts and aspirations finite, surrounded by infinite consciousness. Old white woman, come back to the streets, rally for reversed inequities, affecting change with more than loving kindness. New November for an old soul. The leaves are bright, changing color, rust to red, letting go, leaning into what's next, moving on to what serves them now in this new November. Apple orchards smell sweet. Carved pumpkins sit on the porch. And like the fall leaves fluttering to the ground, I am falling into myself this November hour of my life, looking for sustenance of spirit and kindness and connection, the part of me that looks like you, different yet the same. Reconnoitering the landscape of your body, falling into the curve and crevice of your smile, brighter than the sun, fluid as time lapsed over eons. I literally have to look into your eyes, cool like chill November, as you pretend not to know me. I am the second full moon. Call me blue, blessing you with renewal, pushing towards possibility. Look at me this November night. Feel my rays on your face. Contemplate my rare return. Take a moon bath. Look up. Sex in the bathtub. Naked, glistening, soft skin, bubbles overflowed to your face, scrunched and striving. I don't mind, I don't mind. In the bathtub, you do not speak or care for me at all. Perhaps you think I am sad old woman without self-respect to have sex in the bathtub with a stranger. You are wrong. I am, have been, walk with, stand in love. Sachet on excursion where enormous fiery stars like my orgasm blast under the sea, wet and wild, holding my place secure in the scheme of human kindness. Exalted sciences. A spiritual receiver, science compels research of microbes, cells, bodybuilding mavericks, split liver, multiple DNA found in spudge and protozoan, makes or breaks us in familiar ways. Declare greed evil, call inclusion kind, religion is the dope dealer. Making me feel good for nothing, wanting to believe we are one with creation, winding our way up steep streets, moving further from the truth, eternally grateful for all aspects of life, promises of limitless power and of peace. Ride with me under branches shadowed by moonlight, armed in crystals, spoken word wands, brushing a secret film, covering the world's nonsense, learning to see our bare feet, four corners warmed in weight. We whisper revelations congealed. Deliverance comes from my one self. Lessons learned in orbit, running after horizons, smoky allure, royal red skies, reflection, found lizards, their eyelids sewn, poultice made of crumbs, powder pounded from teeth and nails, left to dry, formed from multiple religions, beating the same drum, being in awe of astronomy, biology, ecology, and physics. Sciences exalted and sublime. If it's monument you want, look around. Wondrous worlds behold. Falling. Cold, dark January, wake up smelling early morning drizzle, someone burning overcast skies, speed checked Akashic records, tied to seasonal aromas in rural lands. Camped near Big Sur, tarot cards by firelight shaping life's trajectory before divorce was real. Pull the death card, benevolent, premeditated, new beginnings, shared in childhood recollections, dimming memory sincerity, driving over the bridge, the one that fell in 1989, peering over its edge into society's prism like acacia's yellow bloom growing underwater where intuition wells up behind your beautiful eyes, recalling our past lives together. Opinions. Three-part harmony, my voice a tool, moving and melting, coordinating complexities. As we talk of national affairs, I speak of things we can all agree, until a car bomb explodes across the street, screaming dissonant tones into the fold. I cross the road for stories untold on how I ended up here, an operatic convulsion, battling dialogues in defense, leaning into my perceptions, assuming what I see is true. Dried leaves collect on the surface, I swim with death. Floating on my back in convergent salt water, singing the body electric waltz tribute to flesh and spirit, I join the atmospheric melody, surrounded by chaos, reaching for crescendo. I give an empathetic ear to pro-life people standing beyond the choir, deep in their own conviction that their truth trumps my own. Minutes make life. Sonny came over today, sweet 3-year-old boy. His parents, gender non-conforming, have a new home, his cool new room safer than his old house, a different urban, a different hood, diamond district, close to shopping school in Redwoods. Hella memo, mama, he wants 3 siblings, plus him makes 4, like ordering vegan pizza. Age-appropriate Netflix on my MacBook. He stretched himself across my lap to see the screen. I watch his face the whole time. This one's for Tommy. Mind your business. Legislation guarding trans freedom needed as conservative states attack children and parents. To know who you are at your core early on, your innate essence voiced, respected by community, gender educated without assumption, embraced and protected by family, she, he, they, them, my life, my call, not your concern at all. Thank you very much for letting me take you through that little road with my family and my thoughts.
Unmute, ladies and gentlemen. Let her hear it. Beautiful work.
Thank you.
Beautiful job.
Everybody. Good to see everybody here. Thank you so much.
It was wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well done.
Turn off the recording, Dan.